Good evening to each one and all. Festive greetings. So I welcome our DG here, DGs who are there in this group, PDG, on behalf of Women in Rotary India WhatsApp group. So I welcome all our weary members of all zones, a convener, co-convener, a speaker, guests, Rotarians and invitees to this Viri India Group Zone for RID 3142 Emotional Wellbeing Series Unplugged 3 Anger Management. So over to now Nagjyoti for the 4-way test to recite our 4-way test. She's a very coordinator.
Of the things we do and say, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nagjyoti. We have our national anthem. So I think those who are not going to rise, they can just mute their videos, switch off their videos for this national anthem. A respect to it. Bharat Mata ki Jai. So once again, I welcome you all to this emotional well-being Unplugged 3 Anger Management by Mrs. Desiri Punwani ma'am. To empower ourselves with positive thoughts and achieve harmony and peace, Viri India Group launched Emotional Wellbeing Series curated by District 3142, myself Sandhya Shastri and Dr. Priya. With the help of our convener, Julia, we conducted 3 series: Forgiveness, Train Your Thoughts, and today is Anger Management. So ये गुस्सा कितना हसीन है, अब हमें ये बताएंगे Desiri ma'am. And to top it all, 10th October, we are awaiting confirmation by Sister Shivani. So please block your dates. So I now invite Dr. Priya from District 3142 to introduce the concept. Over to you, Priya. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandhya. So anger. Why have we chosen anger as a topic today? All of us have felt anger at some time or the other, whether as a fleeting annoyance or as full-fledged rage. We have all been party to it. Anger, of course, is a human emotion, which, if it goes beyond our control, can create problems for us in our personal, professional, and in all aspects of our life. Anger that we feel can be towards a person or a situation, or it can be the behavior which is a result of a constant nagging worry in our minds. Some problem that troubles us, which we bring out as anger towards everyone. And sometimes it can turn pathological and result in fury and even violence. So all said and done, we realize it is very important to learn how to manage our anger well and wisely. To throw more light on this topic, we have for you today a very popular and a well-known certified counselor, Desiree Punwani, who, in spite of her busy schedule and travel plans, has taken the time and effort to address us from the United States of America. We really appreciate the effort you've taken, ma'am. And without much further ado, I now call upon Rotarian Alakananda Bakshi to carry out the formal introduction of our speaker for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandhya ji. Good evening, Namaskar, Johar. It is my proud privilege and honor to introduce Mrs. Desiree Punwani. Mrs. Punwani is a certified counselor, experienced EFT practitioner, and light worker. Her life is greatly influenced by Buddhism, Hinduism's Advaita philosophy, and of course, Sikh teachings. Having a past history of alcoholism, she uses her own personal transformation to help others through individual counseling and experiential workshops. Since the last 20 years, Mrs. Punwani has been in the mental health, well-being, and social work field and loves the work she does for others. She is associated with prestigious organizations, including being on the support team of Sanjeevani, Life Beyond Cancer, and M-Pesa Wellness. She conducts online training programs and webinars on well-being and spiritual health practices for several organizations. Her workshops and talks are based on her personal learning, which started 28 years back when she was led out of the dark night of alcoholism towards spiritual light. Madam Punwani has conducted several workshops in Mumbai, Jamshedpur, Delhi, London, Cleveland, and Dubai. She has addressed various groups of all ages in schools and colleges, social organizations such as Rotary and like ours, Lions, Rotary, and other corporates. In June, she released her book In High Spirits, From Hopeless to Shining Self, which gained popularity amongst readers. It is based on a life story of transformation. Madam Desiree believes the best gift we can give each other is to share our stories and our learning. If done honestly, with no pretensions, it can help people accept themselves and learn to grow from there. On personal basis, I know her because of her association with Jamshedpur, my beautiful hometown. Madam, it's great to see you in Zoom and would look forward to hear from you. Thank you for joining us. And that's true from US. I'm sure we will all learn and enjoy the event. And you'll learn from your life story. Thank you. Thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you. Whenever I hear the national anthem, it always makes me emotional. But I think when we're out of India, it's even more emotional. I can still feel the whole effect of it. And I really feel so proud to be an Indian, and I'm so happy to be together with my countrywomen on this early morning in LA. Who would have ever thought it? So let's start with the topic of the day, anger management. So when this topic was given to me, I decided that I was not going to do any research on it. I was not going to look at the definition. I was not going to look at the types of anger which I listed. I would instead go within and see what anger meant to me, what it meant for me, and also what anger management meant for me. And my hope is, and my intention of doing this is that each one of you, after this talk, will also go within and see how do you understand anger? How do you experience anger? And if you wish to transform it in some way, how best could you transform it with your wisdom and with your experience? So if you notice, I have already changed the topic a little bit from anger management to anger transformation. Because really, this is what we're looking for. This word management, when I read it, okay, my inner feeling was, oh my God, I don't want one more thing to manage. There are already so many things we've been managing since a very young age. We had to manage our studies, we had to manage our extracurricular activities, then we have to manage things in our job, we have to manage things in our marriage, with our children. One more thing to manage. I don't want to do it. But the moment I think transforming it, definitely it's very motivating. So first, let's go and understand, if we will, what is this anger? So the way I saw it is that for discussion purposes, I'm categorizing it in two. So there is what I'm calling actionable anger, and there is what I'm calling helpless anger. Okay. So actionable anger, I understood, which we normally call anger, is when we have an expectation that is not met. Our reaction to it can be from mild disappointment to frustration, to irritation, to anger, and even rage. The whole spectrum, it can be anywhere on that spectrum. But the basis of it is that we have an expectation that has not been met. This can be expectation from ourselves. This can be expectation from others. So an expectation of how someone should perform, how they should behave, how they should treat us, how they should reward us, protect us, support us, whatever, okay? When this is not met, then the reaction that comes, as I said, disappointment is nothing but a mild degree of anger. And hurt, let me tell you, and is nothing but unexpressed anger. When someone says, I'm deeply hurt, what they are also saying is that I have this anger which I'm not expressing. So, and why am I calling this actionable anger? It's because there is something we can do about it. It's based on our expectations. So if there are things that can be changed, our expectations can be changed, intention can be changed. There are many things we can do. Therefore, it is actionable anger. What is hopeless anger? Hopeless anger is when actionable anger is not looked at, it is not resolved, it is not communicated, it is not transformed over a long period of time. Then all this that is stuffed inside, one disappointment, one frustration, one anger, rage, frustration, anger, when it comes up like this, it becomes like a lava. And then what happens? We've all seen, we all have someone we have experienced in our life who gets angry and no cause. It is almost like they are carrying a spray can of acid, and wherever they go, they start spraying this acid. And because people don't know how to deal with this, what do we all start doing? We all start moving away to keep ourselves safe. That is this helpless anger, which is the result of not managing, not transforming, not resolving the various issues that caused us anger in our life. Yes? So now let us look at this anger. Okay, what I'm calling actionable anger. The Buddha says, your house is burning with 3 fires. You are not able, you cannot live there anymore. And these 3 fires are desire, intense desire. So in Hindi, it would be Rag and Trishna. When we have this intense desire, okay? So it is desire, anger, and delusion. The 3 fires with which our home is burning. And which is this home? It's our body. So if we look at anger, why would it be called a fire? Anyone who's experienced anger immediately knows why it's called a fire. Okay, because of the heat, because of the burning that it causes. It's called a fire actually also because it is an energy that fuels. Okay, it's an energy that fuels. Desire is also an energy that fuels. So anger is an energy that fuels. And it is the kind of energy which, if it is out of control, can completely burn things down and destroy us and harm others to a great extent. However, if it is tamed, then it empowers us. So when I looked at anger like this, that okay, this is an energy that I have. Like water gives me energy, air gives me energy, heat, fire also gives me energy. Now the thing is to see whether I'm just going to let it go out of control and destroy everything, or whether I can tame it so that it empowers me. Instead of destroying me, it empowers me. So if you look at anger management like that, then it's very motivational, because you see, otherwise when we're saying anger management, it's almost as if, we have been bad managers with it. We've not learned how to handle it. Okay. And then that kind of makes us feel like it's a bit of a sort of a lose-lose kind of situation that, I'm not able to do it. It's like someone who says, I try so hard, but I'm not able to do math, or I'm not able to understand technology. So there are so many of these things already that make us feel less. They make us feel helpless in something. And the moment we say anger management, it also makes us feel like that. So instead of that, if we look at it, that it is a power, it is an energy that fuels our life, it fuels our intentions. If we can tame this, if we can transform it, then it empowers us. Then our motivation becomes even stronger that yes, I certainly want to understand and I certainly want to learn how I can tame this valuable energy that has been given to me. It's the same as fire destroying your house or cooking your meals and keeping your house warm, right? Same thing. So how would we do this? This was the question that came up for me. Exactly how can I do this? So let's look at the process of anger. So what is the process of anger? The process of anger is there is an expectation, it is unmet, and when it is unmet, there is a reaction, right? There is an expectation, this expectation is not met to the degree it's not met, and the frequency with which it is not met creates in us a reaction, which we call anger. As I said, the lowest thing would be disappointment, the highest would be rage or fury. These are all forms of anger. So it creates in us this anger. So this cause and effect, right? Trigger and reaction. Now, can there be something that can change this dynamic, that can come in between and disrupt this process, divert this process, act as a catalyst, whatever? Something that comes in between and changes this dynamic. So that I understood to be the pause. So then what happens? There is cause, pause, and effect. Pause, pause, and effect. And that, my dear friends, is the first step to transforming anger. Because the moment there's a pause, even though there may be an effect, there may be anger, it cannot be of that intensity that it is earlier. So what would be this pause? From the time we were young, we've heard this. When you're angry, drink a glass of water, count to 10. All these are forms of pause. So whether you're drinking a glass of water or you're counting to 10, what we are required to do is to breathe. So the pause essentially is pause, breath, 1 breath, 2 breath, 3 breath, whatever you can do. Pause, breath, 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 effect. So don't try to, with the cause or the effect at this point of time, it's very difficult for us to change it. But here in the middle, we have the power to take 1 breath, to take 10 breaths. And then whatever is the effect, we let it be for you. And you will see, definitely the effect changes. It is very difficult to stop to take a deep breath and continue to be as angry as you were before. Okay? So this immediately, the moment we can do this, we have already started the process of reclaiming our power back. We have already started the process of taming anger. Right? Now, once we are able to do this, even to some degree of success, okay, that is when we can bring in some of the other elements. What usually are we told when it comes to transforming anger? So I'm no longer going to call it anger management. We'll call it transforming anger. So what all are we asked to do? Very often we are told that meditate. It will help you a lot with anger. We are told to de-stress. So whatever works for anyone to de-stress. So let me tell you one thing. For people who are not able to meditate, then sometimes, we start feeling, oh, but, I can't meditate. So does that mean I won't be able to transform my anger? Of course not. Meditation doesn't always mean that we are sitting on a stool or we are sitting on a cushion with our eyes closed and watching our breath or chanting a mantra. Going for a walk alone, cooking, listening to music, playing an instrument, painting, knitting, stitching, even cleaning the house. All these can be made into meditative practices. If the cell phone is put away and we are totally focused on something we love to do, it's equivalent to a meditation. So whether your meditation is a passive one or an active one, it doesn't matter. But as I said, once we have learned to get this break, then we start looking at, okay, I have learned to take the break, but I still need to transform the anger, isn't it? So let me look at how I experience anger, right? So this is your contemplation or meditation. So how do we experience anger? How would we know? How would we learn? When we are sitting alone, we recall the incident. And when we recall the incident, it could be something that happened 5 minutes before, all right? Maybe you shouted at one of your staff or one of your children or whatever else, someone on the road. It could have happened many days before, many months before, or whatever. So you recall the incident. And when recalling the incident, be observant of the body. What is happening in the body? What is happening in the body when I am recalling this incident? Where am I feeling discomfort? Am I feeling it behind the eyes, in the throat, in the chest, in the abdomen, back, neck? Where? Always there will be some part of your body that will tell you, look here, look in this place. This anger that you felt 5 minutes back, 5 days back, 5 years back, this is where it is sitting. This is where it is sitting. This is where it is sitting. It will point to different places. It will point your body to the place where the anger has made a home now, where it is sitting. And see how that feels. Does that feel just tight? Does it feel uncomfortable? Is there a burning? Does it feel rough? There will be some kind of sensation. Okay. Now you have started understanding your anger. So to catch it in the head and to transform it is very difficult. But because body is frozen thought, because every thought we think lodges in our body till we are ready to let go of it. So it stays in our body. Now, when you feel it there, once more, start deep breathing. Just be aware of it. Yes, I'm feeling it here. Breathe in and breathe out. No stories. This is very important. No stories, no justifications, no giving reasons to yourself. Just understanding that it's like if you have got hurt somewhere, you're walking and you've got hurt somewhere. What difference would it make whether it was someone's fault or not? Or, you know, the shoe you're wearing, what is important? You've got hurt and you have to attend to that hurt first. So here also the same thing. Become aware and start breathing. So this is your healing process you're starting. You're not allowing that, even if it is a little scratch, because that scratch will become a wound later when these kind of angers happen again and again and again and again. So you start the healing process. You breathe in and you breathe out and you breathe in and you breathe out. And you touch that part and you say, I know it hurts. And I'm sorry it happened that way. Next time we will be more mindful. Next time we will try and do it differently. Whatever way you want. Pat it how you do a hurt child and soothe it and breathe into it and breathe out so that it can start healing all these wounds and ulcers and sores we have, which come from 20, 30, 40 years of hurt and anger and damage. Just first heal it. Be gentle. Be kind to yourself. Understand how helpless you have been in expressing anger again and again and again. And understand that the reason also you're doing this is because you don't want to come to helpless anger. Before you reach that point, you have to start retracing your footsteps. Okay? So this is what we do as a first step. And as we do this, and as we feel better, we start getting more motivated now to do something about it. Therefore, it is actionable. Already you've taken action, right? You observed it, you breathed, you started the healing process. Now the action has to be more solution oriented. So what would that be? So that would be perhaps looking for each one, it will be different. That's why I said that we need to go within and see what does it mean for us. Because what anger means and how someone experiences it will be completely different from how we do. And each person who teaches can only teach from their experience, right? So once we have heard others, we need to understand for ourselves. So then when you look at it, we'll start seeing that, I have held this expectation from this person for all these years. The person has not met it. Why? If the key is wrong for a lock, you can keep trying to use the key for 100 years. It's not going to work. So why are we doing this again and again and again? It is the wrong key. It is the wrong key. It's not going to open that key. So then we decide either to look for the right key or let that lock as it is. Okay, we understand that we don't have to keep it. Sometimes we also understand, and this applies to ourselves and others, that the expectations have been unrealistic. So for a child, for instance, who is more inclined towards the arts, and you are expecting them to be brilliant in science, it's an unrealistic experience, and it's an expectation, and it's an unkind expectation. And we do this with others, and we do it with ourselves. So we start understanding this, and we start modifying our expectations. We either drop it or we change it. And sometimes we decide that each individual has a right to be themselves. And we perhaps the best way we can engage with them is just to be there for them and to love them for what they are. And that, of course, would be the best thing, especially once our children have grown, once we have also grown in our partnership with people and also with our friends. Everyone has the right to be what they are. And we need, just as we need to be accepted how we are, we also need to extend this courtesy, this generosity to everyone in our life to say, please be as you are, and then to be there for them, to love them in the way we can do it. Okay. And again, not the way they want, because that can also create frustration. Just how we can. So we start looking at things. Sometimes, we look and we see, oh, I've had this expectation for myself from so many years. I've struggled with it. Like, people who have this, no, I'm overweight. I need to go for a walk. I need to diet. It's not happening. Maybe just learn to love yourself who you are. Maybe there's another solution for you. So sometimes we then see and we say, no, this is not working. It's making me very unhappy. Let me drop this. So we may decide to drop an expectation. We may decide to let it be. We may decide to lower it, whatever, change it, whatever. The other thing we can do, which many of us often don't realize, is that we are having an expectation without being willing to pay the price for having it fulfilled. So I'm going to give you a very simple domestic example for this. Let's say you have a staff, okay, at home, and your constant frustration is this person is not doing the job the way I want them to do. So clearly, either they're not willing or they're not able. Now, you want the job done in a particular way. So you can spend the money and get one more staff to do it. Now, the cost of this, whatever you're spending, is the cost of your happiness. So we need to look at it like this. We cannot have expectations, like you cannot send a child to a school that's not good enough or get them a tutor who's not good enough because they are cheap and expect to get results of the finest school or the best tutor. If you want that, you have to be willing to pay the price of it. Okay? So very often what happens is we don't understand money in terms of the value it gives us. And the moment we start understanding that, it changes. So I'll give you, there's this lady I met whose one big passion in life was to buy an expensive sari every year. She told me one day she realized that if she didn't buy that sari every year, if she dropped that one desire, she had 2 people working for her. She said, every year I could increase the salary of both my staff by 500 rupees. Because 12,000 rupees is what it would cost her in the year. The saris never cost less than that because she was buying expensive saris. She says, I already had so many saris, and what happiness were the saris giving me? There was just, this was desire. Remember the first fire. So she dropped it. The servants are happy because they know they're getting a 500 rupees increment every year. They're willing to be with her, loyal to her, and serve her better. So similarly, I know people who will forego fancy meals in 5-star hotels. I certainly do, because I would rather use that money to make my staff happy. And I have seen many times, what we do is perhaps that when we decide, okay, we won't go out today. And that day, I will tell my staff that, look, I'm getting chicken for you all, and please make chicken curry for yourself, because we didn't go, but I can use a fraction of that funds to get for them some chicken so that they can enjoy it and they can be happy and they work better. So if we have high expectations, we must also be willing to pay for it. That's the only way. You want quality, you pay for it, right? So when we start looking at things like this, and one more thing we can do, and this is really the most empowering, and whatever I'm talking to you today is things I have tried and I have done, and therefore I'm sharing, which is why I didn't research the subject. We can decide that in a certain situation, no matter what the provocation, I will not lose my temper. So recently we were getting a house repaired. It was in a bad state. We had to repair, we had to renovate some of it. And anyone who's done that knows what a nightmare that work is. Invariably, something will go wrong. The workers will not do it properly. They will not turn up. This was lockdown times. And I decided that whatever may happen, even if the work is done completely wrong and I have lost that money, I will not lose my temper. My peace of mind is more important than some color or some other thing in the house rightly done. Some things have gone quite wrong. In fact, it has been over it's been what now, 8 months. One part of the roof is still not properly done. I just refuse to lose my temper. I tell the guy also, I said, you're not doing this. Normally I would have lost my temper. I refuse to lose my temper. So this is the choices we make. And these choices we can only make after we have taken that pause, stepped back, looked at it. And what can we change? We can only change the expectations. No, that's on us. And we start changing the expectations in whatever way we do. When we do that, remember I said cause, pause, effect? This transforms. It becomes cause, pause, impact. That is when we start experiencing our power. That is when the anger, the energy of anger is transformed. Not only do we feel better, happier, empowered, as I said, we are making an impact, but also we feel so much more energetic, because all that fuel that was burning up to no benefit for anyone now has been conserved and can be used slowly and effectively in our lives to give us happiness, in other people's lives. So this is the anger management. And I'm going to leave you with one example, because there is one more type of anger that I have not touched upon, and that is righteous anger. So people like Mahatma Gandhi, when he said that the British quit India, when Lokmanya Tilak said, Swaraj hamara dharm siddh adhikar hai, hum ise lekar hi rahenge. When Nelson Mandela decided that he would get freedom in South Africa, any of these people, Martin Luther King, look it down history, there are countless. Rani, Jhansi, anyone. Even Mother Teresa, when she said the poorest of the poor will be looked after, it came from this righteous anger that how can a human being not be looked after? So then this fuel, this energy can be used not just to transform our lives, but to transform the world around us. And that is the true transformation of anger that we are all looking for in our lives. So that, my friends, is how we transform the energy of anger from a destructive one to an empowering one. Thank you so much.
I believe it's my turn. Thank you, Ms. Punwani. It was a fantastic. You spoken about the anger management, especially I like even many of our members like cause, pause, and effect. Because if you are pausing yourself even for a 5 seconds, you can visualize the effect is gonna happen after that. So friends, do you have any question? Please post in the chat. Otherwise, I am ready as always to ask the question on your behalf. So shall I go ahead, Priya, Sandhya? Do I have a green signal?
Yes, Julia.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Julia, go ahead.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
All right, Ms. Pumani, before I ask you question, I would love to play a quiz with my members here. So I would like to test them what they learn from your talk. So friends, are you ready? Are you ready? So the question which I ask, if it's a yes, put a thumbs up. If it is a no, make it a thumbs down. So here it comes your first question. Some people are afraid of my bad temper, of your bad temper. Is it correct? Some people are afraid of your bad temper, not my bad temper. I don't have a temper. Your bad temper. Is it right? Yes or no? Quickly. Yes? Nirmala, Priya says yes. Nagajyoti says yes. I should go for a gallery view. Gayatri, Anjana says yes. Oh my goodness. I'm equally, I'll go with Anjana. Yes. I'm scared of her bad temper. So there are many people. What about Sandhya? Yours? Sandhya Baral? Sandhya Shastri?
Yes.
Sushmita, please, those who have switched off their video, at least put a thumbs up, yes or no. Rijwana? Yeah, Sangeeta Mudara is saying yes. If someone can pay attention to the chat also, Pio is here today with us. Yes, not at all. With Vinita is saying not at all. That's wonderful. There are so many people who are saying yes. Girls need to do work on your temper. So here we go for, you must, another question for you, friends. When things don't go your way, do you get depressed? Because this was just Ms. Desire has mentioned just now in her statement, why we get frustrated when things are not matching up. Yes. How many yes are coming, Priya? Oh no, Priya says no. Nagajyoti, Rajendra
No.
Prasadji, yep, no. It's a mixed reaction. Those who are saying yes, please keep those lines in your
Yes,
back mind.
yes. Yes, I get frustrated when things don't go my way. I'm very bad with these tabs. So sometimes it says chat no. I can't access the message box because I'm outside.
No
But I'm
issues.
listening.
So if you get those who are getting depressed, the things are not matching your way. You have heard what Ms. Desire has said, right? So follow this, keep in your back mind. Even in meditation, we learned in our previous emotional well-being that subconscious mind, we have to feed our subconscious mind with good positive thoughts and things. Okay, Ms. Desire, I have few questions for you.
Sure.
Some people describe anger as a secondary emotion. This means that anger is a response to a primary emotion, such as hurt, fear, or sadness. For example, someone might feel hurt and lash out with anger in response. Do you think anger is a secondary emotion? Why or why not?
This seems to me to be like, splitting the issue. The thing is, whether it is first, it is like saying the fire that is burning my house is the secondary fire. The primary fire was the gas stove that I lit. Who cares? It's still burning your house. It could have been the electric fire, the electric shortcut, or it could have been the gas, or it could have been someone smoking a cigarette and this thing. So the thing is to say, no, but this is secondary, that is the thing. So see, anyway, pain is unexpressed anger. Disappointment is anger, which is it's still in a nascent stage. It is like you can understand it maybe like, like a little flame or something like that. But all these have the potential for becoming anger, and then not only becoming anger, then the uncontrolled anger, which I called helpless anger. Then, is that a third level of experience? I don't know. But the thing is, it certainly is coming from all this. But what is the cause of it? The cause of it is that any of these things you look, mostly the cause is that we have an expectation that things should be a particular way. And if so, the manageable thing here is my expectation. That is what is important. And someone had asked a question, what are the three fires? The three fires are desire, anger, and delusion. These are the three fires.
Well said. So my next question goes to you. Everyone experiences anger. Sooner or later, we control, we learn. Everyone has experience and they are experiencing. It's a completely normal emotion. Nowadays, it says, and it's a healthy within limits. But as we know, anger can become a problem when it gets out of control. That's why you mentioned cause, pause, and effect. But when is anger healthy, and when does it become unhealthy or harmful? What's your point?
So when the anger can lead to a better situation, that's why I gave the example of righteous anger, okay? Or even with ourselves, let us say we have been caught up in a particular habit. The habit could be getting up late, it could be too many cups of tea, it could be procrastination, I'll do it tomorrow. The day we really feel angry with ourselves and say, I've really done this enough is enough now, I need to change. That kind of anger with ourselves is productive anger, because that's why it's the fuel, because it gives you that energy to see what happens. What is the problem with a person who's depressed? The problem with the person who's depressed is that this energy is very, very low. They're not able to summon up enough energy to even be angry. Okay, therefore, they're not able to summon up the energy for change. So if it can be directed toward transformation, so when we say I was fed up with myself and I said I had to change it, what are we saying? That I was really angry with my habitual behavior. Or like so many people who, finally get out of a bad marriage is because they reach a point where they say, okay, enough is enough. Okay, I'm not taking this anymore. So that kind of anger, the self-motivating anger, not the anger that destroys others, but the anger that, let us say, even if we are so dependent on a staff and we are constantly angry because they are not doing something, and one day we get really fed up and say, okay, that's it. I am now not going to rely on anyone. I'm going to do it myself. So that kind of thing that doesn't just keep shouting and screaming at people and complaining about things, that kind of thing is definitely useful because it brings about change, good change, positive change. So yes, It is because it's a fuel, it motivates, it moves us forward. And the problem with depression, as I said, is that becomes so low. And then when people are depressed and they're given drugs, that makes it even more low. And then it's difficult.
Quite well said, well said.
There is one question has come from Aarti. Can anger be silent when we feel the anger but don't express? This was my next question, Aarti. Let me explain more, Ms. Desire. I'm gonna elaborate this question for you. Where is this? Yeah. People can express their anger through words, actions, art, or any number of other ways. Do you, Miss Desire is for you only, do you express your anger in any healthy ways? And if so, what are they? We are gonna learn that. What do you think might happen if you never express your anger? Because nowadays with the parents, those who are new generation parents are coming, even the people like us who are running offices, we say that if we won't lose our temper, or we won't scream on our staff or people working, they won't work. So it's become a new fashion, new normal for us. And if we don't scream, what are the other ways to express your anger? As Aarti is also saying, how you go, because we can make out from your personality, your face is so calm, the way you are speaking, I don't think so. There is no lines on your forehead. How you manage? What are your ways to control your anger?
So don't control it. And you know, when we say this, that, oh, we feel we have to scream, one thing is, it's such an unkind and disrespectful way to live. It's so disrespectful to scream at others. When someone screams at us, how do we feel? Do we feel respected?
No.
Not at all. Okay, so to feel that I have to scream at someone else, firstly, is expecting to start with that person is a fool. He's stupid. And he'll only understand if I this thing. It's such a disrespectful way to be. And it's also so unkind to others and ourselves, because when we scream, okay, the other person can hear it, and you know, they can develop a skill where even though they are standing in front of you, they're not hearing anything. They can zone out. But who's screaming? Whose vocal cords are getting damaged? Whose day is getting spoiled? Us. Us definitely. The other person maybe. If they become smart enough, they don't let it affect you. That's why you always have staff who say, "Wo madam to chillati rehti hai." Okay. Do we want to be remembered like that? And who came up with this theory that only if you scream will it be done? Okay, so this is what I'm saying, that when I said that when we pause and when we step back, we start saying, do I need to spend more on this? Do I need to manage it differently? Do I need to drop my expectations? Or what else? Or do I need to explain to that person the consequences of what they are doing, and then, you know, have a system where of reward and penalty from which they understand, whatever it is. Okay, but screaming certainly never did anything for it. That's 100%. Okay, and if we think that, we are already very bad managers. So first, we really need to understand about ourselves that this is not the way to be, and we are moving relentlessly towards that helpless anger. So definitely need to stop, have a pause, start moving backward. Okay, so screaming is never a solution. I mean, my husband has worked also in Jamshedpur, and I mean, people in his office say that he never screams, and he always tells me, for what? You know, if the person understands, that's good. If they don't, then I have to decide, do I want to still keep that person or not keep that person? Do I want to do business with this person or not do? But screaming does nothing.
Great. I have a last question, but before that, I'm gonna, because I have plenty of questions, but I'm just gonna ask last question. But before that, one of our members, Sangeeta Muddara, Priya, if you can just spotlight her. She's asking, what about anger of subordinate positions? Because seniors can scream to release anger, but the subordinate?
Yeah, so that is when we are receiving anger, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are giving anger, and when we are receiving anger.
Yes.
So that is really, it's a difficult one, because we are placed in this position, and not always can we move away from this position. You know, like in some cases, yes, we can say, okay, I'll change my job, or I'll, you know, or I'll move away from this relationship. or whatever, but that's not always possible. And more often than not, it's not possible. We can. So here, what I have seen in my life, Sangeeta, is this, that, when you are receiving that anger as a subordinate, because obviously your senior who's getting angry is already in that helpless anger stage, right? Because they're just spewing anger. As I said, they're carrying that spray can and they're just going and spraying everyone with this acid. All right. So, yeah. So what I have seen that the solution for it actually, honestly, is a spiritual evolution. I'll explain that to you in simple terms. What I mean is, see, now wherever you are in your work, it is like you're standing against a wall. And this person is throwing this ball at you every day. And you are not able to move away from that, because moving away from that wall means losing your job.
True.
Okay. So, and if it is a job, especially, it's difficult for you to take that ball and throw it back. At least if it is your partner or someone at home, even if it is your mother-in-law, sometimes you take that ball and throw it back. Right? But with a boss, it's very difficult to do. So, although you feel like it. So one thing that I have seen, so I have few friends and we have a kind of a pact that if I have a frustration, I call them and I tell them I want to talk about this, but I make it very clear, as they do with me, that I only want to express myself. I'm not looking for advice this one. Because, people tend to start giving advice and you can't use that advice in that situation, or you're not ready for it. So I tell them कि देख मेरे को सिर्फ बोलना है in a safe place. And your job as my friend, तुमको सिर्फ सुनना है.
Okay.
You have to be there. So that's your first step. You take it out. Okay, like that.
Right.
Because
It's
don't
like
keep it in.
releasing it out. You just need a listener and you release it out.
Yeah, and first it has to be a trustworthy listener who will not take it and go, out in the marketplace with a loudspeaker saying ki Sangeeta ne aise kaha. Okay, not that kind of friend. Okay, so the first is, if you have someone like that, you're very lucky, and so that's your first step, because at least you got it out of your system. Okay, then the next step is to see that, okay, even though this person is throwing the ball, his range is only so much. It can only go 8 feet up, maybe, and 4 feet down, or whatever. What best can I do? Because now what you can do is dodge it, but you can't dodge for very long. It's very tiring. So you start thinking, what can I do so that I can go beyond that? Okay, he'll keep throwing the ball, but so that is the spiritual evolution, where you give yourself a cue. So for example, I'll tell you, I know someone who, whenever something like this happens, in his mind, he holds a picture of his child, or what the child may have done the previous day. He may have played, laughed. His child is about 4 years old. Okay, so he'll do something like that. So that guy is going on talking, he's listening, but he is looking at this child. Okay. And so there are people who have this, there are people who will chant. So now this, I'll give you a very good chant. This actually should be a completely separate session. But so that person is going on. Now you are chanting. Now it is like this. Suppose you decide to say Ram Ram. Okay. Now if you say Ram 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 Ram, it won't work, because as he's shouting, your Ram 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 will get very fast and you still start feeling the effects of the anger, because when he's screaming, you can't go Ram, Ram, Ram. It won't work like that. Right? So you do Ram Ram 1, Ram Ram 2, Ram Ram 3, Ram Ram 4. When you put that break, Ram Ram 1, Ram Ram 2, Ram Ram 3, your mind will steady.
Correct.
And so this is how you go beyond that zone.
Thank you.
You'll
Thank
finally
you.
you'll have to thank that boss, because he has helped you to evolve spiritually.
Spiritually. Very true. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And Ms. Desire, in this, writing a journal will also can help, no? If someone is not, or you cannot trust, so you can write a journal and take out everything.
Writing the journal can help. And also I would like to tell you, I think Aloka talked about my book. So this book, it's called In High Spirits. It's actually my journey out of alcohol to wellness. And you asked, what do I do? So actually, first half of the book is a memoir. The second half, it's 200 pages, 100 pages memoir, 100 pages. The next 100 pages are all the steps I took in a stepwise fashion, whether it was Maitri Bhavna or whether it was forgiveness or gratitude, all these things, and keeping the journal for it and managing it is all explained. I don't know how many of you live in Jamshedpur, but in Jamshedpur, there's a Bluebeck bakery where it is available. Otherwise, online, it is certainly available. And it's available just now at a discount. So it very simply explains step by step how you can do these things to transform your life, because that is what transformed my life. And that is what continues today to add value to my life.
That's true.
So it is a continuous process. You cannot do it. You can't say, okay, I'll give it 1 month, 1 year of my life. Our life has to be dedicated to becoming the best version of ourselves. So that when we leave this world and meet our maker, he, rather than saying, मैंने क्या भेजा था और क्या बिगाड़ के आए, he can say, कि मैंने क्या भेजा था और तुमने इसका क्या बना दिया. I am so happy. You have become my form, my root. You have come back to me as the original and better. That's what we want.
All right. Before I just, in that, just you give us it's a kind of a motivation or a role model before we finish off my question answer round. You must have experienced people around you. Someone was really good at managing their anger, not just hiding their anger or ignoring it, because both are important. We have to maintain balance, but managing it in a genuinely healthy way. Do you know anyone who manages their anger well? So give us the example. So we will just photo frame the picture, or we keep reminding ourselves we have to become like this.
My husband, it's not, you don't have to manage the anger, you have to release it.
Yes.
See, that's why that word it's a very demotivating word. We have to release our anger and we have to transform our anger.
Release in a healthy way again, not
release it. So I said all that in the talk, whether you do deep breathing, you can do yoga, you can do walking, you can do cooking, whatever. All this helps to release it.
That's true.
All the relaxation techniques, all the absorption techniques, the ways we have, each one has a different one. Someone will tell you that I feel it's so therapeutic when I cook. Some will say, I feel if I don't go for my walk every day, I'm irritable. So each one has their own.
Right. That's
so
true.
My husband is just sitting and listening to jazz music with his glass of single malt. That's his way of releasing his anger. So each one has got their own.
Yeah, we have learned in the Bollywood movies also, count 1 to 10 if you're losing your temper.
But you won't count one. The problem is you won't count 1 to 10. You won't count 1 to 10.
That's
so
true.
Therefore, it's better just to take a breath.
That's true. Or just go out from that area.
Desiree, can you please explain delusion as fire with some example?
Isn't your time over?
Yes, she was one of our last speakers. So Priya, just put her a spotlight.
In delusion, there's a lot that comes. But the two things that definitely come in delusion are agyan and ahankar, ignorance and arrogance. And ignorance and arrogance are both. So what is ignorance? So the base is ignorance, actually. So the two negative emotions by which we live are fear and ignorance. Everything arises from that. So arrogance also comes from ignorance. Arrogance comes from the ignorance of the fact that we are all one, that we all have the same energy in us. And if today you're better than someone else, it's just because you're luckier than them. You're not better than them necessarily. So ignorance and arrogance. Ignorance makes us feel that if I scream at people, they will work. Ignorance makes us feel that because I have more, I'm superior. Because I'm older, I know better. All these things. And these are things that create in us, I don't know, the danger with ignorance and arrogance is that they are so blinding that anger, at least sometimes you can see that I'm getting angry. Desire, you can see how consumed you can be by desire. Okay, a point can come. But ignorance and arrogance is like wearing a double blindfold. It's very difficult to see how we are damaging our life. That's what it is.
That's well said. So, friends, you have learned in a quick, we can have a more time to talk on to control. As I mentioned in my message, controlling management is like simple as drinking a glass of water. It's all depends here. One of our members asked that anger, what she had written, anger paralyzes our thought process. But what I believe, and I'm sure Ms. Desire will also agree with me, our thinking pattern, if we correct that, we can control our anger. Our thought process paralyze everything. We have to just divert it. We are going opposite, anger paralyzed. Who is getting anger? You. From where it comes? From your mind. So change your thought process. Am I right? Ms. Desire. That's great. So friends, so you have learned controlling anger, managing your anger, you're living more healthy lives, you are spreading happiness around you, your thought process is going very well, you can do more productive things. So you have to just know what to do in the morning. We have learned in the past, sit in the morning, 10 minutes or 30 minutes, give yourself. Subconscious mind, feed good things to your subconscious mind, because throughout the day your conscious mind will act what you are feeding in the morning. So on this, I'll say thank you very much, Sandhya and Priya, giving me an opportunity to put question answers before Ms. Desire Punwani. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Sandhya?
Yeah, over to you, Priya. You can carry on.
Okay. Now that we have had this wonderful talk by Desiree ma'am, I call upon Rotarian Sudha Shankar Narayanan from Rotary District 3142, VD member, Zone 4, to please deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you,
Sudha?
Priya. Yeah, thank you, Priya. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, I am speechless. Today morning when Priya called me saying, will you give vote of thanks for the session today? And I asked her, what's a session? And she said, anger management. And I'm like, wow. Did somebody from my house call Priya and said, you know, Sudha needs a lesson on anger management? But I must say, ma'am, Tesri ma'am, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but
Yes.
it was a phenomenal session. Being from the corporate world, I've had multiple sessions on anger management. As you would know, a lot of corporate companies do this, but nothing has come even close to how you have presented it today. What I really liked, I'm sure everyone today in this session, I think we had 45 or 49 plus people who attended. I'm sure everybody has
57.
taken, oh, 57, I'm wrong.
Yeah, almost 60 people. Yeah.
Then I'll go. It's for the 62 then.
Yeah, so the point is,
on Facebook.
so the point is, you know, what really stuck to me, and I'm sure most of us, is about this transformation, you know, using this energy. I mean, the analogy that you bought of fire, you know, burning the house or your body, or similarly, fire which cooks your food can also burn your house. So using that fire into a very positive thing and bringing a transformation, because at the end of it, it is a kind of energy. How you want to use that energy is up to you. It's in your hands. So nobody else is going to, you know, do that for you. I thought that is really a powerful thing. It just changes the perspective towards how you want to approach this. And moment you, as you said very beautifully, and that was your starting, saying if you think of it like this, it becomes a motivational project. I think that was the icing. The whole techniques that you've given, ma'am, today in terms of cause, pause, effect, and the impact, you know, picking up something and pursuing something which becomes very therapeutic and helps this transformation. going inside, creating that awareness and finding out which part of our body is really getting impacted. I think those are some amazing tools, because one never realizes, people think anger to bas dimag mein hai, but where it goes and impacts a part of your body, we don't know. And removing it, just when it is a scratch is again a phenomenal thing that you've left us today with. Kudos to you, to the great examples and the techniques that you beautifully shared today. I'm sure it's a small step towards transformation for each one of us, because each one of us at different level, struggle with anger. And if we can all take this prawn today, that, let's work and use this chi, as they say in Chinese, use this chi, use this urja in making something powerful, making something which is empowering, then I think today's success and the whole program that WRI has tried to put together for the last couple of weeks will be successful. With this, I'd like to really, really thank you on behalf of everyone today. A big, big thank you. I would also like to thank the district governors who have attended the session today, the convener Julia Gangwani ji, the zonal coordinators Priya and Sandhya, all the Rotarians, our friends, WRI members, coordinators of all the zones, and maybe even family and friends who have joined together. A big warm thank you to all of you for attending, sitting through the entire session. And I do hope to hear such similar wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
May
you,
I sign
Sudha.
off now?
Yes, ma'am, you can if you have some other.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have announcements for the announcements of Aviri Group. You can just go through.